Hey guys, for this video I wanted to go over all of the abilities that Moira can evade or dodge with Fade. We're going to go through every character that has an ability that can be avoided with Fade, starting with Doomfist and ending with Zen. One thing I forgot to put in the video was that you can also avoid Genji's dash. So let's get to it. First up, we have Doomfist. All three of Doomfist's abilities can be dodged with Fade in some way or another. His Charge Fist, his Jump Fist, his Uppercut, as well as his ult can all be dodged. Next up we have Genji. As I said in the intro, you can dodge his dash, and this is especially useful during his ult. Obviously his ult is going to outlast your Fade, but dodging the dash would deny him, you having a double dash effect which could kill your other teammates. For McCree, you can dodge his flashbang as well as his ult, but just know for his ult, you have to time it right when he hits it. For Pharah, you can dodge her regular shots as well as concussion blasts, which can be useful for getting through choke points. You can also kind of avoid her ult, but it does outlast the Fade effect. For Reaper, you can avoid his main shots as well as his ult. I didn't get a good shot of it here, but you can avoid Soldier's rockets as well as his ult, sort of. If you can go to a place that's safe, it's your best option. For Sombra, you can avoid her hack if you cast Fade while she is casting the ability. You can also avoid EMP if you hit Fade at just the right moment. Next, Tracer, you can avoid her sticky bomb if she places it on the ground by fading away from it, but you can also use Fade to get out of it if she sticks it to you. For Bastion, there's not much you can avoid, but you can use Fade to kind of juke his shots while he's ulted. For Hanzo, you can use Fade to juke all of his main shots as well as Scatter Shot. Just be aware of the Scatter Shots scattering back and hitting you. And also you can use Fade to avoid his dragon. For Junkrat, you cannot use Fade to get out of traps if you hit them. However, you can hit Fade to avoid any subsequent damage he would do to you. You can use Fade to get out of his concussion mines, as well as to juke his tire. Just be aware that he has to activate it for you to avoid it. For Mei, you can use Fade to get out of her freeze and reset the timer that she would need to freeze you completely. You can also use it to get out of her ult. You can't use Fade to avoid anything completely from Torb, however you can use it if you're surprised by his turret, either as regular or when it's Molten Cord, to get to a safe location. For Widow, you can use Fade to avoid her main shots if timed correctly. You can also use it to remove the debuff placed by Venom Mine. You can also use it just to go straight over Venom Mines and not pop them. Alright, on to the tanks, starting with D.Va. You can use it to avoid D.Va's charge, her charge with shots, as well as her charge with missiles. It's kind of difficult to track people with D.Va when you charge because you get in so close, so Moira's Fade is particularly effective. And also, make sure you time it right, but you can avoid D.Va's ult. For Orisa, you can avoid her little gravity ball and her main shots. Fade is particularly effective against Reinhardt because you can avoid his fire strike, his charge, as well as his ult. For Roadhog, you can avoid his hook if you time it just right. However, if you do get hooked, you can Fade to avoid any subsequent shots he would make on you, as well as melees. You can also use it to avoid a portion of his ult. The only things you can avoid against Winston with Fade is the damage from his jumps, as well as the knockbacks from his ultimate form. However, I kept this in the video because Moira, with her click, can just out DPS Winston. He provides no threat against her, and that is a very good thing to know. Rosaria, you can get out of her right click ability, as well as use Fade to get out of the area of Graviton Surge. Against Anna, you can avoid her grenade, her sleep dart, and her main shots. Against Lucio, you can avoid his main shots as well as his boot. Against other Moiras, there are 3 uses for Fade. You can use it to avoid her damaging orb, to cut the line for her left click, or to get out of Coalescence. Against Symmetra, you can use Fade to get through turreted areas, and I used the wrong orb here. You want to use your damaging orb because they now take out her small turrets. Use Fade to avoid her balls, as well as to cut the beat. Last but not least, you can use Fade to get rid of Discord Orb from Zenyatta. You can also use it to avoid his main attacks, as well as his charged right click. Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe if you enjoy our content.